learn music is mainly from Braille. I also learn a lot by ear. So when I started off as a musician, I started on guitar. For the first 5 years, I just learned completely by ear, and then taught myself to read Braille music. And when I came to playing the lute, actually I had to develop a Braille system of lute tablature, which I did with Tim Crawford many years ago. And fast forward sort of 25 years, these things can be automated. So you can send me an output from Sibelius in Music XML, or I can get tablature from programs like Phronimo, and it still has to be, obviously, go into my brain. But it's very interesting for me coming to the concerto, where obviously no one's recorded it before, and to start with, like you said, there's no orchestral parts, it was just the solo part. And you were very specific about a lot of the fingerings in the piece, because it's taken from the idiom of the instrument. And in the Music XML, some of those, certainly the actual string numberings, don't come out very well. So actually what we did is just spent really what we did with the Miller's Tale. We get on Skype or FaceTime, sometimes meet up in person, and just go over it. And I guess, is that different to what you normally do? You normally just send someone a PDF and away they go? Or?
It is different. I mean, I always love working collaboratively, but working with you, the main difference being, of course, that if I send someone a score which is littered with sort of fingerings and string numbers and instructions, they can assimilate that sort of stuff. And also, of course, with many people playing new works, playing from the music for a long time, until it's really kind of ingrained in. And even then, playing from memory, but at the end of a very, very long process. Whereas you had to start playing from memory immediately.
Yes.
And especially playing a kind of music which was rhythmically very much more complex than the kind of Baroque music you're playing most of the time.
Yeah.
So you were kind of moving to this different world.
Yeah, and the way those rhythms are written down, I mean, the way they sound is fairly straightforward, but actually seeing it on the page, and particularly in Braille, it just took a lot of persistence. And you were great, actually, because you just said, well, just put your headphones on and get on with it. And very unsympathetic, and then that made me think that you've worked with lots of people who also complain sometimes. But I really find what's so nice about working with you is that you're open to things, you're open to suggestions, and you'll say yes sometimes, and sometimes you'll say no. And
well, that's very useful. I mean, you're equally honest and open. I remember one of the movements of the Miller's Tale, the first piece, simply didn't work on the Theorbo.
Yeah.
And you kind of knew that from the out, but you still learned it from memory in order to play it to me, so I could hear that it really didn't work.
Yeah, just so we could see, okay, this is why it doesn't work. It's not that I don't want to play it or I can't play it. That, it's not working because the instrument doesn't sustain the same way as a guitar does. So actually, you came up with something that was absolutely brilliant.
I think the other thing that's unusual about the concerto, of course, is when people are learning new concertos, they've got the score, to look at and absorb and to sort of really learn. With music Braille, you only have one line at a time. There's no way of having that kind of vertical.
No, and there's no way to really have the score, and it would have been kind of 500 pages, which wouldn't even fit into a suitcase. So we did it with obviously various MIDI mock-ups, and I did it a couple of times with a pianist. But it was, to begin with, it was very difficult to learn just where to play, where to come in, because it was not a piece I'd ever heard before. So it really stretched me in a fantastic way, not only in so much as what the Theorbo can do, and but just mentally, actually, as a challenge to learn a piece like that. It was it was actually really enjoyable for me anyway. I'm not sure about the people. Not sure about it for my wife, where I was doing like 8 hours practice a day. But